this is Eric with the Sign Industry Podcast, brought to you by Van Ladder and Signs of the Times Magazine. Today, we're speaking with Eric Hogue. Eric, how are you doing?
Doing great, Eric. How are you?
I'm doing really good. I met you at the Sign Expo because you did some really fantastic work and you got accolades for it. So Tell everybody who you are and where you're from.
All right. So I'm Eric Hogue, president of ALD Decal and Graphics in Canton, Ohio. It's a family business. Went to work with my family back in 2002, and I've loved the business ever since. We specialize in vinyl graphics, mostly for fleet and architectural applications. So a lot of what we do are work with other signing graphics companies on the wholesale side, helping them to accomplish their goals, and whether it be trying to achieve some fleet programs, because we have screen printing capabilities as well as wide format inkjet. So we really try to provide a service to the signing graphics industry, helping them accomplish what they need in assistance with vinyl graphics, because we just know in the sign industry there is so much out there that needs to be done. And so you focus on an area, and our specialty is the wholesale vinyl graphics side of it, especially on the high-end warranty graphics, fleet graphics.
Mm-hmm. I don't think people realize how useful a wholesale sign company can be.
Correct.
I started using wholesale sign companies back in the probably mid 90s.
Okay.
So back when it first started going out, I think Worldwide Sign Systems was one of the first ones that I hooked up with to do stuff. And the reason I did that is because I didn't have the equipment that I needed.
Exactly.
And they did. So it enabled me to get into bigger and better projects. With you guys specializing in the decals and graphics end of it, you can actually expand any sign company for that matter. The way I look at it, because you cover the little guy that needs something, maybe all of a sudden has this big project, doesn't know what to do.
Right.
And you guys can handle it. And you can also handle for the bigger people, say they got a salesperson just started, and the salesperson goes after something and they're like, well, we really don't do that, but they could go to you. So
that's exactly it. There's so many sign companies out there. It could be a 1-2 person sign company that maybe is just a salesman with a bucket truck and has an installer.
Mm-hmm.
And so they wholesale out all of their manufacturing. And then you've got larger companies that have 200-300 people, and they might have a workflow that is so busy with them right now that they need to outsource just to get product out the door because their equipment's so backed up. So we fit that niche for a lot of those different, from small to large range companies, helping them with their production.
Right. And if they happen to be a company that specializes in decals and vinyl and whatnot, they have a machine goes down, and they got a deadline,
and a lot of our wholesale customers are mostly electrical companies. They don't want to even look at, vinyl graphics as far as the production side. They just, it's easier for them to outsource it.
Here, take this.
Right, exactly. And there's so many wholesalers out there that print, Coroplast, PVC, and it's a nickel and dime business. The premium vinyl graphics side of the wholesale industry, there aren't too many out there who really provide that service, who are warranted manufacturers on the 3M MCS side, on the Avery side, as well as Arlon, that have written certifications that we can offer 7-year warranties on our products and offer that as a wholesale product to other graphics and sign companies.
That's a big deal right there, because you don't want to sell, you guys do, from what it looks like here, you guys do wraps as well. You guys print wraps?
Yep. So we have various HP latex wide format printers, all 3M MCS certified, as well as our screen printing equipment that we can offer depending on what the fleet program, sign program is. We can either have 3M write up a special warranty program for that, especially for the inks and capabilities that we have to help that sign company, that graphics company, get that program. achieve that goal. So we have a wide range of manufacturing capabilities that really is a benefit to a lot of sign and graphics companies out there.
Yeah, I was just thinking right off the top of my head, I was like, if somebody wanted to get into, say, car wrap, and
Yep,
they don't want to go out and they don't want to buy the big expensive machines or anything yet, all they gotta do is call you and, print it and they can try it without getting hurt too
exactly. That's a
much.
lot of the inquiries we've had recently, or maybe the paint change
Uh-huh.
installers.
Yep.
That's an easy buy off the shelf product. You don't have to have equipment or so forth. You're wrapping vehicles, paint
Hmm.
change. And we're getting a lot of inquiries from those guys. Hey, would you start printing some? Because they're getting the interest from corporations, businesses wanting full color wraps. And so we've been getting a lot of interest from those gentlemen, those installers saying, hey, could you partner with us?
Hmm. How many people you got working there?
So it's funny you ask that, because we have so much in the manufacturing side of it. We have 6 of us. We have
Perfect.
myself as the owner, salesman, and then we have 5 production staff
Uh-huh.
that operate the screen printing presses, the flatbed cutting machines, our wide format printers. It's a really unique setup we have compared to a lot of the other shops in the industry.
That's amazing. I when I started in the industry, I incorporated in 2003. I got some, I'd been in business long before that, but in
Okay,
2003, I wanted to go national, but
sure.
I didn't want all the employees or all the other stuff. I didn't want a big brick and mortar building and all that. So I relied on wholesalers
Yeah,
for years and years and years. I was the only one running the company.
yeah.
I was doing projects for casinos, and
Okay.
I was the only guy running. I'd do all the design work and all the engineering, have it
Uh-huh.
built all over the United States, shipped to one spot and hire some local people to put it up.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And that's one of
streamlined.
the yeah, and that's one of the added benefits we have at our facility. We have over 30,000 square feet. So 15 of it's dedicated to production,
Hmm.
and then the other part of it is dedicated to warehousing. So, for example, I keep going back to fleet programs. So, with the advantage of wide format digital inkjet and screen printing, we can offer discounts and good square foot pricing because of the production quality and opportunities we offer. And we can, reach out to some of those fleet programs and partner with them and say, look, if you want to take advantage of the 500 quantity fleet price at this price, we can warehouse 400 of them for you. If you want us to drop ship
Oh. Hmm.
50 at a time, to your different sites along throughout the US
Hmm.
or North America, and we can offer that opportunity. It's an added benefit to help our clients
Hmm.
uh,
Yeah, with the
sell some of
internet,
those programs.
with the internet, you can just be anywhere and
Right,
design something, send it to you. You
right,
do it all up and then ship it out. I mean,
right.
it's amazing. Do you guys help in design work as well?
So in house, we do not, because
Hmm.
a lot of our wholesale clients either have graphic designers in their facility, whether they're a graphic design vinyl warehouse or sorry, vinyl production or
Hmm.
sign company. A lot of them have their own graphic designers, so a lot of the work comes to us. But we have a lot of good working relationships with graphic designers locally that we can work with if it's needed.
Oh, very good.
And
What
that
type? Oh, sorry to
no,
interrupt
no,
you.
no, and that project that you described early on in the show that we won some accolades and awards for was with a local graphic designer.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask what that was.
Yeah, yeah.
So
He won the project himself through the design that he offered, and then he hired us to print and install the project for him.
very cool. Wow.
Yeah,
That's so cool. Yeah, it's a lot of companies out there. Like they've gotten rid of their vinyl cutters.
yep,
Um, and so when a vinyl project comes up, they're scratching their head. Well, we used to do it, but we don't have the equipment or the people to do it anymore. That's another thing too, is the sign industry is running low on skilled people. And
yep,
so they can't take on a lot of that heavier
yeah.
stuff, the big stuff. Are you finding people doing simpler graphics more and more with you, or is it getting into the big fleet stuff more and more?
So for us, because I see a lot in the industry, like you said, getting into the simpler projects,
Hmm.
and we've been in this industry for so long now, we have the skill and we've worked with so many projects that the higher design, higher skilled projects are coming more towards us because we have that knowledge and capability.
Hmm.
So I am so blessed and fortunate for the staff that we have. We have two employees right now who have reached 40 years with the company.
Oh boy.
Yeah. And, the expertise being in vinyl that long and the changes and everything that has come with that
Yeah.
over the years, the knowledge they have is, you can't buy that.
No, you can't. And it's
And
hard to replace.
it is.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm going to have some hair pulling years here in the future to figure out how I'm going to replace those two.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's
but
that's
but
that's a tough one.
but my shortest tenured person is 8 years. When you hire, you have to look for quality employees
Hmm.
to offer a quality product, and I've just been very fortunate to have that.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I was talking with Mars Bravo on a episode not too long ago out in
Okay.
California, and she's trying to come up with new ways of bringing kids into the industry and whatnot. Because like you said, we've got people that have been in the industry 40 plus years, myself included. And, you know, I'm probably never going to retire because I love what I do. But at the
Right.
same time, those people that are doing installs and doing the fabrication, they don't want to be around forever.
No,
And that's like you said, that is a really, really tough person to replace.
it
Really
is.
hard to replace.
It
Well, hey,
is.
we're going to go for a break right now.
Okay.
And when we come back, I want to ask you how you got into the sign industry and
Okay.
how you kind of fell into where you're at.
Look
Okay.
forward to it.
All right.
Yep.
All right. This is Eric with the Sign Industry Podcast, brought to you by Van Ladder and Signs of the Times magazine. We'll be right back.
The Van Ladder bucket truck simplifies your sign installation and service work. A winner of the ISA's Innovation Award, the Chariot Bucket has a rotating fork system with an assortment of super useful accessories, giving you an extra set of hands at the job site. And with 6 different outside compartments and a huge project area inside, the Workport box is a traveling warehouse. No more running for parts. Finally, all-electric Van Ladder operates without the vehicle running, giving you a quiet day's work without stinky fumes. You can check it out at www.vanladder.com.
Hey, welcome back. This is Eric with the Sign Industry Podcast, and I'm speaking with Eric at ALD Manufacturing Company out of Canton, Ohio. And before we left, we kind of teased a little bit about how you got into the sign industry. I ask everybody
Right.
because it's always a different story. And so how did you get into it? How did you get into the sign industry other than the family business?
Yeah. So, every kid out of high school thinks they know what they want to do, right?
Yeah.
Well, for the most part, once you get into that industry and then you realize this is not for me.
Right.
So I went all through high school, junior high, high school. I thought engineering was for me.
Mm-hmm.
I went to college, worked myself through college. About the third year of college, I'm getting into the depth of engineering, and I'm like, nah, no, this isn't for me.
That's a lot of
So,
math.
like I said, I was working myself through college, putting myself through college. Mom and dad were great. They let me stay at home while I was doing that. I told them college isn't for me anymore. Engineering's not for me. I got to find something else. And, mom and dad were great about it. Dad sat me down and said, "You're not sitting at home." He says, "You're going to find a job,
Uh,
and within 6 months, we'll revisit it." So I spoke with my aunt and uncle who own ALD decal, and they're always looking for help, someone who they could rely on and really bring into the business and teach them the guts of the business. So that's where I went in February of 2002, and I've been there ever since.
Very cool. Congratulations. Yeah.
Thanks.
And the question I got to ask you, do you love your job? Do
I
you
love it.
love your job?
I love it. So in 2002, when I started, I never realized, you think of these small companies not getting involved in large projects. So my uncle, first day I was there, he said, I'm sticking you. Now this is going to date some of us, but electrostatic printing, are you familiar with that?
Yep.
Yeah. So early 90s, that was the first form of digital printing before
Oh, yeah.
inkjet, wide format. So we were one of the first 3 in the country to invest in that product, and he held on to that. He swore it was the best digital printing process over any inkjet system that was out there at the time.
Yep.
So he stuck me up in that department for a week, letting me just see how the equipment operates, how it works. And at the time, we were getting a few MLB stadiums ready for opening day. So we're printing scoreboard graphics, concession graphics, wall murals, all kinds of advertising for different major league stadiums. And I'm sure my eyes just,
oh yeah,
lit
lit right up.
watching
Look
all
at what
this.
I'm doing.
Yeah. So the next week he says, all right, we're going to stick you in the screen printing department. So back there, first thing I see on the press, we're printing NASCAR logos
Oh wow.
for
Cool.
some of the NASCAR teams. And keep in mind, these are all wholesale projects. We're doing these for signing graphics companies. So, there's Home Depot going off the press. There's graphics for Interstate Batteries. You're talking Sunoco. And I'm falling in love already, the first 2 weeks of the business. So a lot of high profile projects. And then we started printing some fleet graphics going down Dominican Republic and for El Presidente beer. I don't know if you've ever heard of that.
Oh yeah. Yep.
First 2 weeks I was in love, and it's been a joyride ever since.
Yeah. There's nothing like it. I was bound, determined to be an architect, and
okay,
this is where I landed. So
yeah. So you and I aren't too far off.
No. Architects are the heroes of engineers, so it's okay.
Yeah. So you were using the T-squares and taking drafting classes in junior high and high school.
Oh yeah,
like I was.
As a matter of fact, I got a board right back there still.
Oh, I
behind
see
me.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one of my original boards.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I take my love for architecture and I put it into the sign industry. That's why I do the projects that I do, because I love it so much. Speaking of that, one of the things that maybe somebody that's watching the podcast right now can do, if they're thinking about it, is, okay, I did a minor league baseball stadium 20 some years ago, I think it was. And so I got the design package and I designed all the signs, scoreboard, and all the other stuff. But I really didn't want to play with the decals and the floor graphics and all the other smaller things that came with it. So you are actually, you as a wholesaler are actually a good partner with somebody that might take the big picture over here and then design the small stuff and then give it to you.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yep. And that's the bread and butter of our business. So we have a lot of great relationships with other signing graphics companies. Like I said earlier in the podcast, I don't have a salesman on staff. I build relationships with these other signing graphics companies, and 3M and Arlon. A lot of them see the uniqueness in our business and help push some of those people our way, saying, look, we realize that you guys don't have the production capabilities. ALD Decal over there has been doing this for over 60 years now. They have the knowledge and capabilities to help you with this program if you really want to go after it. That's or, you're outsourcing projects. Maybe you want to look over at ALD and help you with that as well.
Very cool. So where do you think you're going in the future? Got any
That's
big
a great
plans?
question. So with the future, we've been looking at opportunities. There's so many wholesalers out there that offer those lower advertising opportunities, like as far as Coroplast, PVC, the prices where there's very low profit margins. And we're so good at what we do on the vinyl graphics side.
There's nothing wrong with that.
We have, you got to stick with your bread and butter.
That's right.
You got to promote it and you got to work on those relationships and opportunities just to keep the product that you know so well.
Mm-hmm.
And we've looked at those opportunities. Well, if we're on the wholesale side and we're doing vinyl so well, why don't we get into some of those other products? And we've looked at that, and it's not for us.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a lot of
There's
busy
too many
work.
others that are doing it.
Yeah. A lot of busy work to make 25 cents.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So some opportunities we've looked at is maybe bringing a graphic designer on and saying, hey, now we'll offer the design portion of the wholesale side of it for these sign and graphics companies as well. You don't have to employ one or outsource, to somebody that you don't know or trust.
Mm-hmm.
You could do that with us.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, our time is about up. We don't want to keep our watchers and listeners too long, so we got to let them go feed the dog or something.
Right.
So, hey, Eric, it's been a joy to talk to you. I know that we've had a hard time getting back and forth together and making this work. But I'm glad that I finally got with you and we had this opportunity. Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you for the invite. And it was great meeting you down at the ISA Expo. I appreciate that. And looking forward to seeing the podcast once it's published.
All right. Well, hey, give your social medias, your websites, and all that other stuff.
So our Facebook page is All Decal and Graphics. Website is alldecal.com. Like I said, on the wholesale side, we can't publicize a whole lot of the projects that we work on to protect our clientele, but there are some unique projects out there. One being the cooler here in downtown Canton that we wrapped and won the ISA Expo award for. So we were very flattered for that opportunity.
All right. Well, hey, it's nice to meet you in
well.
person in Florida, and nice to meet you again here. We'll talk to you again soon.
Great.
All right,
Nice talking with you, Eric.
Yep.
Take care.
Bye.